Good, everybody, still here. Daily Market Pulse, Monday, August 4th. Happy birthday, Daddy. Stocks closing higher, but the volume was considerably lower, so pretty quiet, a little bit of a balance, but everything seems to be reasonable. This may not be, of course, the time that you want to fully invest, although things are looking good. I'll show you the put call ratio very quickly as well, because this is a time when likely things are, in fact, looking to turn around, it appears. There may still be a test of these levels at some point or another. We'll have to wait and see how that goes. So you're going to see, there's the VIX. I'm going to come back to that here in a moment. There's the Dow Jones, and unfortunately, we may not be seeing the green candle yet. Yeah, we're not. We're seeing a green. There was a green candle essentially that came up a little bit higher from here. In fact, I'm hoping that if I show you the Dow Jones futures, you will see what I'm talking about. It's coming off a support area. There's the, let's see, is that right? That's the high wave. It's more like a hammer. It was actually a little bit higher than that, I believe. Should be anyway. But it's sold off a little bit at the very, very tail end here. But anyway, you got a bounce in this area, very oversold here as well, as you can see. When you bump over to the S&P, there it is. You have a separating line, to actually more of a bull sash formation in this case on the S&P 500 above 1920, 1925. That's the bottom of the channel. That's a pivot area window. Actually, not, it's more of a pivot area, support area through here. So you're expecting some kind of a bounce, maybe back toward 1975, 1980. NASDAQ, used to sell off a lot more than the rest, and then, of course, now it's actually holding up better in terms of the selling off is not near as severe as it was in the past. So it's holding the 50, it's holding the pivot area near 43.50. Separating line. In this case, the open was well above the previous day's open. It was actually near session high until it faded just a little bit. It's got room to 44.50. Again, into the oversold area here as well. TSX had finally sort of given some up last week and fallen to the wayside. So we're just waiting for that to load here. There it goes. So it's flushed pretty hard, 2 days. And we don't have today's just yet. So I'm not really sure what it did. I can go to the intraday. I don't remember if there's intraday for the TSX or not. There is. No, there is not. That is still last week. So unless there's a holiday, let me think about this. There might be a holiday weekend, possibly. They tend to have holiday weekends through the summer, take advantage of summer before the winter comes. So it might be a holiday weekend, so the market there might be closed. The DAX had been selling off pretty aggressively. It's still looking like it's trying to sell, but it's actually just essentially testing this large area of pivots and support right through here right now. So it's I'm going to go right there. That's where it is. Look for a bounce potentially in there. The US dollar, Canadian dollar is likely to sell off after a decent move to the upside. It's actually just pausing at 109 for the time being. This is a pivot area, so looking for a little bit of a pullback toward the 8 moving average maybe. The treasuries were holding their channel. They did so really well on Friday, but also Thursday and then Friday, and then today a little bit higher, shooting for 139 perhaps, as the markets are trying to stabilize. And you have the Japanese yen, same thing, stabilizing, nothing really aggressive except for Friday's candle was actually more of a true support and bounce. Today is just holding support for now, looking for a room all the way into 98.80 or so. Same thing with gold, hold green candle, nothing in terms of a reversal. You see that blue line I got right above, there's a little bit of a channel here essentially, and it's still in that same range right now of a channel locally. So it needs to break out of that, and that's likely 1300 to go higher. It needs to hold and go. Silver, kind of the same thing. I believe the silver candle was not anywhere near the size as gold. Is more of a spinning top or doji formation, so it's holding the 50, holding the 200, same parameters. Top trend line off the top here. It needs to break that to go any higher. Crude was bouncing. It had sold off a fair amount as we have seen before. It bounced decently Friday, and then even better so today at a polarity near 98 here. So it's holding reasonably well there. And then if we look at small caps, risk on, risk off, there was of course a series of cycle lows. And now we're essentially currently right now, and this is actually after hours, but still a separating line here as well. The open was above the previous day's open. as well. So that's came down and pretty much retested the lows of Friday, but then came right back, formed a session high 111.50, almost to 112, looking now for 113 to 114 on the upside. And the VIX I briefly flashed at you at the very beginning, came into a resistance area near 117, two consecutive closes above the Bollinger Band, and we had the put-call ratio above 1 significantly. So this was a time when we knew that there would be at least a pretty good strong bounce of some kind. Volume was not there, but at least the movement was there in the price action. So it's probably worth showing you then the put-call ratio. So the blue line is the moving average. It's an 8 exponential, or it's probably a 5 exponential moving average of the put-call ratio. And you've got to move over 1. The reason I've got a green line because that's where the buy signals will occur. So you had the flush to the downside, you had a doji, now you've got the reversal, you had the two consecutive close of the VIX through that same area. So those coincide usually very, very well. That's been history anyway. In fact, hopefully I've got my markers. There's my marker. I used to put some green shaded areas in there, and I will do the same thing right here. No, that did not work. I need to go back because it probably put right back. Yep, that's what I thought. So that's what I thought. So let me mosey on my way back over here this way, and you can see the channels and the trends that were occurring in there before. Now we've got this right here right now. So there's that. That coincides with that. Oh, that's not going to let me take it there. So oh well, leave it alone then. It's that. So there it is. And we saw hammers in some cases. We saw separating lines, bull sashes. So far so good from that vantage point. We might be looking for the VIX to come all the way back down toward 12, possibly until this thing. This is a pretty strong, a very aggressive selling. So it stands to reason there's going to be a green candle, some kind of a bounce here. So thought I'd share that with you as well.